everybody, and it's Thursday. That always means one thing at this time of year. It's football season. High school football starts tonight. I'm your host, Billy Gates, and here to talk about week one with me, we're just going to get right into it. Here to talk with me is KXAN Sports Director Roger Wallace. And Roger, you're going to be out at one of two games on our family of networks tonight. Usually we only have one, but this Thursday we've got a pair. You'll be at the Taco Shack Bowl between Anderson and McCallum, 7:30 on the CW Austin. They're at House Park, and turns out that's a hot ticket, Roger. That thing's sold out. Like, we figured out that House Park seats about 6,000 or so.
Yeah, the word from AISD earlier today, late this morning, was it is a sellout. So if you don't have a ticket, check it out on the CW Austin at 7:30. But it's always a popular game. If you're not familiar, Northwest Austin, McCallum High School, Anderson High School, two schools that are close together. It's a situation where kids might have gone to elementary school together, maybe even middle school together, and then split off, and some to McCallum, some to Anderson. So that has that small town feel to it. But it's usually a pretty competitive game. Now, it's gotten away from McCallum the last 2 years. They haven't had the numbers they have in the past. That's what they're playing for, that trophy. It's the 23rd version of the Taco Shack Bowl. They've been playing this rivalry a lot longer than that. But, McCallum had the series tied up at 10 apiece, and then Anderson won the last two, and they did it in convincing fashion.
Yeah, they won for 42-0 last year, and then 49-3 the year before. So the Knights are looking... Well, they're not only looking for redemption, they're looking to get into the end zone because they haven't been in the end zone for the past two seasons against them.
Yeah, and Thomas Gammerdinger, their head coach, he's been at the school 15 years, 7th year as a head coach. You know, they were so light on numbers last year, and we have our meetings with him on Tuesday, and it seemed like he was talking to Keith Moreland and I more about guys that weren't available than were. It's just bad luck. And when you have a situation where you know you're going to have guys play on both sides of the ball, then you get hit with injuries.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a fair fight last year. He thinks they're much better shape that way. But you got a talented Anderson team featuring, one of the best skill guys in the state in Ed Small. They've got a quarterback, Max Gerlich. He only played 3 games last year, but he's committed to UTSA, had a big summer. So, again, Anderson, Donald Hatcher's done a nice job of building that program. See if McCallum can get something early, Billy, and make this a ball game.
Right. You talk about Ed Small. I mean, obviously he is he's the highlight reel guy here tonight. I believe he had like 9 catches last season for 3 touchdowns against McCallum. He went on to have a 1,000-yard receiving season. Decommit from Texas to play baseball to focus solely on football, and he's going to be a TCU Horned Frog here when he goes to college. I mean, there's very, very few of a dynamic type player like Ed around Austin.
Yeah, and we asked Coach Gammerdinger about that, and they said we think of a good plan, and then the plan goes out the window when he starts freelancing and things like that. But you're right, and they've got another really good receiver. His name's Zayden Sharp, and he's committed to Air Force. So it's not like you can just lock in on Ed Small. So 3 D1 commits for Anderson. That tells you a lot about what Donald Hatcher's doing with that program. But always a fun night, a sellout, and looks like the weather's going to hold off. In fact, might avoid 100-degree temperatures. It's the first time I can remember in an opener that at some point in the day it wasn't 100 degrees. And as you mentioned, we've got 2 games tonight available on TV. Westlake begins their season up in Belton against Prosper. That's a couple of ranked teams. Westlake number 4 and 6A. Prosper a top 20 team, so they're kind of meeting in the middle there for a unusual Thursday night opening for those two schools. That one will be on KBVO at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it did. When I was looking at the schedule, it looked like, because it didn't have the stadiums listed on Westlake's schedule on Max Preps. So, like, when I first looked at the schedule, it looked like Westlake opened the season with 4 consecutive home games. And I was like, what is happening? But upon further review, they're playing that at Mary Hardin Baylor up there at Belton tonight. And I guess Prosper just didn't want to come all the way down I-35.
Well,
just meet them up in Belton and play.
Yeah, especially on a Thursday, and I don't know the full backstory on why it's a Thursday night game, but that's asking a lot. And we see it a lot in the non-district. Schools have to go. Lake Travis is going up to Arlington. That's become their traditional opener with Arlington Martin, and they'll play up in the Metroplex tomorrow. Maybe, and that's why they did it. They said, hey, we'll play on Thursday. We'll meet halfway. And play on a neutral site.
And plus, Mary Hardin Baylor Stadium is
Yep.
Pretty nice stadium for a smaller college.
Yeah,
That's a nice place to play football.
They got a great tradition up there. Another good one tonight out of the Palace. That's Weiss and McNeil. Because McNeil has done a nice job. They flipped it from 2 wins to 7 wins last year. Weiss, one of the best players in the area, and Adrian Wilson. So that should be interesting. I said it's at the Palace. I'll need to double check on that because I know Stony Point also plays tonight as well. But regardless, Weiss McNeil is a good opening weekend matchup.
Yeah, and look at Weiss and Anderson later on in this new 5A conference that's in the Austin area. Those two teams could actually battle for a conference title, perhaps. Well, I mean, the College Station teams will have something to say about that, but it could be a playoff game at least,
Yeah, and it's realignment, so we have to get used to some new rivalries, some old rivalries renewed. McCallum likes their realignment, and they get away from a lot of the AISD schools, so they'll see some different competition, including perennial power Liberty Hill. And so, tonight's big for them just to kind of get things rolling here and see where they stand before a couple of more non-district games, and they get in that push for the playoffs.
So you mentioned Weiss, McNeil, Lake Travis, and Martin. Any other Central Texas games that have kind of caught your attention here week one, Roger?
Well, I think the one that's jumped out the last few years is Vandergrift and Dripping Springs.
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
And they play tomorrow night at Vandergrift at Monroe Stadium. Dripping Springs went 4 rounds deep in the playoffs. Vandergrift, tough because they go undefeated and then they lose to Lake Travis in the opening round. They have a lot to replace on the offensive side, but they've got a lot back on the defensive side. Drew Sanders has done an outstanding job turning that into a powerhouse program. And, of course, Galen Zimmerman at Dripping Springs. And interesting enough, they go 6A and seems like they've gotten better as they've gone along. So that's certainly one of the marquee matchups as well. And that game, again, at Vandergrift on Friday night.
We got all kinds of football going on tonight for the rest of the season. Typically, we only have one Thursday night game that's going to be on KBVO throughout the year. We'll have those matchups to you as the season goes on. Friday nights, that's if you remember, that's our live stream game on our website, KXAN.com/Westlake. All of those games are Westlake games. Those will be your typical Friday night games, and then those will re-air on Saturday at KBVO. There are a couple more Westlake games that are Thursdays this season. Near the middle of the year, I believe they're back-to-back. I think it's on October 3rd and October 10th.
That's right.
So those games will be on KBVO, not on our website. But every other Westlake game is going to be streamed on our website. And yeah, I mean, it's an exciting time, Roger. Like, all of this football gets going. You got high school. You have college football with UT kicking off this weekend. It's busy for us, but it's great for fans.
Yeah, it's great. And also, the NFL also has got the Thursday night game. So for a couple of weeks, there's no NFL Thursday night football. So that'll be nice to have a standalone tonight. Actually, next Thursday, the Ravens and Chiefs. So 1 week of standalone high school football on Thursday. But now Thursday's become a big night of football with college football, full slate of games tonight, and 2 high school games. So get the remote control out and zip around a little bit. But fired up. It's our 15th year of high school football, 14th year of kicking it off with the Taco Shack Bowl 2020 when the schedule was adjusted a little bit. We did not start with Taco Shack, but 14th time that we've done that. So it's a great tradition down at a very cool stadium at House Park.
Yeah, right there in downtown Austin. Really great backdrop if you're looking from, I believe it's 15th or west. The one that goes over the bridge.
South. Yep.
Yeah, looking south toward the skyline. It's a really picturesque kind of postcard picture when it comes to high school football in Texas. So join us on the CW tonight. Roger, Keith, Noah, they'll have all the action for you from the Taco Shack Bowl. And then if you want some Westlake, some Prosper, flip over to KBVO. You should be able to find those wherever you get your TV, whether it's YouTube TV, whether it's over the air. You can find those. We have stories on our website to tell you how to get there. So visit KXAN.com and figure all that out. But most of all, have fun watching football tonight. It's here. It's here. Rejoice. Rejoice. All right. Well, we'll leave it there for now. We will be back with you Monday with a brand new Horns Report talking about UT. We'll be going over their big game against Colorado State here that's coming up on Saturday. So for Roger Wallace, I'm Billy Gates. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you again very soon.